All right, family, what's going on? Welcome to the Boardroom Johnson Executive Series, man. We're going to go through a series of different videos and lessons, and I'm going to take a couple of pieces out of my books, other external forms of media. We're going to get into these lessons, man. This is the first series under the Boardroom Johnson Executive Series system called the Hustlers MBA. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this first video right here is about what the streets teach you about business that business school does not. Once again, the Boardroom Johnson Executive Academy is mainly geared towards, just as impacted individuals, people that's coming from inner cities, lower income communities, and the survival tactics that we learn and we inhabit and we inhibit, and how we could take those same tactics and repurpose them into corporate power and taking and reclaiming our economic power. So this first video again, in the inaugural series, the Hustlers MBA, man, is called What the Streets Teach You About Business That Business School Will Not. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to review this video here by the CEO of CMG, Collective Music Group, formerly known as the Cocaine Music Group, CEO Yo Gotti.
What I was going through, plus I ain't no dumb nigga. I know what come with that. You know what I'm saying? I know what come with that lifestyle. Like, that's why I trip off all those niggas that always want to specify how much they in the street and how much they want to be street in they hood. Nigga, where I come from, you trying to get out the hood. Not because you afraid of it, because that's the obstacle, nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the trap.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's come on, man. Obviously, to get money, move to a better place, move your people out the hood, get as many niggas you can take with you, and like that's the goal to me. That's the real street shit to me. So when I run into niggas and they, oh, I gotta keep it straight, I gotta keep it. I'm like, okay, maybe you trying to visit some shit you never been to, right. Like some field trip shit to you. You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. Yo Gotti made a lot of valid points, man, especially dealing with this first episode, the inaugural episode, what the street's going to teach you that business school will not. First things first was that he mentioned, once you hopping in there, the ultimate goal is supposed to get out, find you a lane, build you something different for yourself so you can have a better life at the end of the day. But then a lot of times we become pigeonholed and we get caught up in the motion, and we get caught into that cycle, and we fall victim to the cycle, as opposed to staying the course, maintaining our discipline, and going about doing and achieving our goal, what the ultimate goal was. A perfect example of this would be the Power series by 50 Cent, where Ghost ultimately he had a goal in mind. He ultimately wanted to go from being illegal to legit. He wanted to become a legit businessman. He wanted to be able to basically have a public face, a public image. Tommy, on the other hand, he didn't have that goal. He was caught up in the cycle. He cared more about, I'm not gonna say he cared more about, but he was stuck more into the mode of the everyday doing, right? So, and it also didn't help that he didn't have a vision. Like, Ghost had already started setting up businesses for both of them to be able to get out the way and leave it all alone. And that's just not what he wanted. That wasn't the vision he had for himself. He had all the money in the world. You know what I mean? From, coming from that type of lifestyle, but that's still not what he wanted. It was the cycle that he was infatuated by the cycle. He wanted to stay in the cycle. So it was the lifestyle, that particular lifestyle, that drew him in. You see that too in the series, The Wire, with Avon Barksdale, with that character. I can't remember Idris Elba character name, but he had a different vision. The ultimate goal was to get out and do something different, and be able to live your life without having to look over your shoulders. But that's not everybody's vision. Sometimes people get caught up in it and get caught up in the emotions. It's the cycle. So the cycle become addicted. And, just to dig a little bit more into that, and drawn from one of my books, the OG Boardroom Johnson book. This is the first book in the OG Boardroom Johnson series, titled OG Boardroom Johnson from CCE to CEO. I'm going to read a piece from the introduction. And it says, growing up, gang life wasn't just about violence or rebellion. It was about structure, identity, and survival. The strongest organizations, even in the streets, are built on hierarchies, discipline, and codes of conduct. At their essence, gangs operate with strategic clarity. They recruit, organize, delegate, enforce, and expand. These aren't random acts of aggression. They are tactical responses to harsh conditions, rooted in the desire for power, security, and influence. If you strip away the criminal content, if you strip away the criminal content and study the structure, you'll find a blueprint eerily similar to that of a startup, a private equity firm, or even a multinational corporation. I specifically chose the title OG Boardroom Johnson intentionally. And OG isn't just an old head. He's a respected figure, a seasoned leader whose word carries weight. In the corporate world, that same level of reverence is reserved for executives who've built empires, weathered storms, and earned their seat at the table. I came to understand that the essence of leadership remains the same, whether you're commanding respect on the block or the boardroom. People follow clarity, strength, consistency, and vision. And that's ultimately what the goal with this here Boardroom Johnson Executive series, starting off with the Hustlers MBA, is ultimately about taking those street and those game principles and repurposing them and using them for economic power. The ultimate goal is to, you did what you did. You don't have to be defined by your past. So, and you have this, we have the skills necessary to be able to live our life, indulging in a lot of the societal things, especially economically. So take those skills, repurpose them 180 the skills. So it's some of the smallest things, some of the leadership principles you're going to learn in the street, some of the strategic principles you're going to learn. That foresight, just knowing certain things and being able to determine it and pick things apart and see things for what they really are and what they truly are is a plus. It's things that you could take into, the corporate world and be able to live a different life. Once in by corporate world, I'm talking about like, entrepreneurship, economic power, being able to come in and not necessarily come in straight out the gate, but at least having the ultimate goal of reaching a higher level. So most of the times, most CEOs or executives, they only work like 3 to 4 hours a day. So they have 20-hour work weeks, but we're talking about 5 to 10 times as much as everybody else, but they're working a fraction of the time that everybody else is working. So while everybody else is working a 40-hour, 30-hour work week, they only working 12 to 20, but they're reaping economically and financially a larger reward than the worker does. So ultimately, the goal is to shift the mindset, be able to take your power and the things you already know, go refine them, do a little bit of reading, studying, and we got the internet, you got YouTube University, so you could just pull up a lot of these subjects and topics and just watch the videos while you in the house just cleaning up or doing whatever you're doing. Just put one of them videos, have it playing while you're doing your thing, or while you're riding in the car. If you're taking a decent little trip, your commute to work is about 30 minutes, take you about 15 to listen to your motivational video, or not even just motivational, but something that's going to teach you something that's going to that you could use to refine the skill that you already have, so you could turn it into something that'll be longer lasting. And ultimately, that's the goal of what this series is, man. So I appreciate you for coming by and stopping and checking out this first episode. Hopefully you catch the rest of them. You stay tuned. You stay on the course. You stay the path. Please engage. Give me some feedback so that I will know what to start including even more in the videos, or certain comments and extra resources and stuff that I could put include in these videos as well to be able to pass on.